Hello, my friend. Take a moment. Just breathe. Feel the air coming in and going out. Feel your body here, right now. You are safe, you are calm, and you are ready for a new story. Maybe you are sitting in your favorite chair. Maybe you are drinking tea. Maybe you are dreaming of faraway places of London, of big cities, of famous buildings you have only seen in pictures. Wherever you are, welcome. This time is yours. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you are in London. The sky is gray. The air is cool. You are walking along a river called the Thames. You look up, and there it is. A huge tower, tall and beautiful, with a big clock on every side. The clock is so big that you could stand inside it, and at the top, a great bell waits to ring. This is Big Ben, the most famous clock in the world. People come from everywhere to see it. They take pictures. They listen to its chimes. They wait for it to strike the hour. But here is the thing. Most people do not know the real story of Big Ben. They do not know its secrets. They do not know that this famous landmark almost fell down. They do not know that it stopped working during the war on purpose. They do not know about the man who gave it his name. Today, we are going on a journey to London. We are going to discover the secrets behind the world's most famous clock. So sit back, relax, and keep that warm cup close. This is the secret behind London's most famous landmark, Big Ben. Our story begins a long time ago, more than 180 years ago. In 1834, something terrible happened to the old Palace of Westminster. This was where the British government worked, where important decisions were made, where kings and queens came to speak. A fire started, a big fire. It burned for many hours. When it was over, most of the old palace was gone. The government needed a new building, a new place to work. They decided to build something special, something grand, something that would show the world how powerful Britain was. They had a competition. Architects from all over the country sent their designs. A man named Charles Barry won. His design was beautiful. It had towers and halls and big rooms. But there was one part of the design that everyone talked about. A tower. A tall tower with a clock. The biggest clock in the world. Building this tower was not easy. It took many years. It cost a lot of money. But finally, in 1859, it was finished. The tower was 96 meters tall. That is as tall as 30 houses on top of each other. The clock had 4 faces, one on each side. Each face was 7 meters wide. The minute hands were 4 meters long as a small car. The numbers on the clock were 60 centimeters tall. It was the biggest clock in the world, and it still is one of the biggest today. But what about the bell? What about Big Ben? That is where the real story begins. The bell inside the tower was huge. The biggest bell ever made in Britain at that time. It weighed more than 16 tons. That is as heavy as 4 elephants. They needed to give this bell a name that people would remember. The government had meetings about this. Important people argued about what to call it. Some wanted to name it after the Queen. Others wanted a famous king. They could not decide. But the workers who built the bell had their own idea. There was a man named Benjamin Hall. He was in charge of the construction. He was a big man, big and tall. The workers liked him. They called him Big Ben as a joke. One day, someone suggested, "Why don't we call the bell Big Ben after Benjamin Hall?" The name stuck. Not because of a queen or a king, but because of a big man with a big job. And that is how the most famous clock in the world got its name. Not from royalty, from a regular man. But here is a secret that many people do not know. Big Ben is not the name of the tower. No, the tower has a different name. For many years, it was called the Clock Tower. Then, in 2012, they changed it to the Elizabeth Tower to honor the Queen. Big Ben is just the name of the bell, the big bell inside, the one that rings every hour. So when you look at the tower, you are not looking at Big Ben. You are looking at the Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is hiding inside, waiting to ring. But that is not the only secret. The first bell they made was not good. They tested it. They hit it with a big hammer, and a crack appeared. A big crack. The bell was broken. They tried to fix it. They made the hammer smaller, but the crack got bigger. Finally, they had to make a new bell, a different bell, the one we hear today. But even today, the bell has a crack. You cannot see it, but it is there, and that crack changes the sound. When you hear Big Ben ring, you are hearing a bell with a crack in it, a broken bell, and it sounds beautiful. Sometimes, broken things make the most beautiful music. For many years, Big Ben rang every hour. It rang through wars. It rang through celebrations. It rang through sad days and happy days. People in London listened to it. They set their watches by it. They knew that when Big Ben struck, the time was right. But during World War II, something changed. The war was terrible. German planes flew over London almost every night. They dropped bombs. Many buildings were destroyed. Thousands of people died. The government worried about Big Ben. If the tower was hit, it could fall. The clock could stop forever. But they did not stop the clock. They let it keep ringing. Why? Because the sound of Big Ben gave people hope. It told them that London was still there, that Britain was still fighting. However, they did one thing differently. At night, they turned off the lights on the clock faces. They did not want the German pilots to see the tower, to use it as a guide for their bombs. So Big Ben kept ringing in the darkness. The people below could hear it, but the enemy could not see it. The clock was hit twice by bombs. Small damage, but nothing serious. It kept running. It kept ringing. And when the war ended, the lights came back on. Big Ben shone again, a symbol of hope that never stopped. Today, Big Ben is one of the most famous landmarks in the world. Millions of people visit it every year. They take pictures. They listen to the chimes. They wait for the hour to strike. But in 2017, something surprising happened. The clock stopped. Not for a few minutes, not for a few hours, for 4 years. The tower needed repairs. It was old. The stone was breaking. The clock needed to be fixed. The whole tower was covered in scaffolding metal frames that workers use to reach high places. For 4 years, Big Ben was silent. No chimes, no ringing, just quiet. People missed it. They realized how much the sound meant to them. The silence felt strange. London did not feel the same without its old friend. Finally, in 2021, the repairs were finished. The scaffolding came down. The clock started again. On New Year's Eve, as the clock struck midnight, people cheered. Big Ben was back. Here is something you might not know. Keeping Big Ben running is not easy. It is not like a normal clock. You cannot just put in a battery. The clock is wound by hand. 3 times a week, someone climbs up to the clock room and turns the handles. It takes a lot of strength. And the clock must be accurate, very accurate. It cannot be even 1 second wrong. How do they keep it accurate? With old pennies. Yes, pennies, the small coins. On the pendulum, the long arm that swings back and forth, there is a place to put coins. If the clock is running too fast, they add a penny. The extra weight slows it down just a tiny bit. If the clock is running too slow, they take a penny away. For more than 150 years, this system has worked. Old pennies, keeping the most famous clock in the world on time. There is one more secret about Big Ben. The tower is not open to the public. Most people cannot go inside. Only special visitors are allowed. But sometimes, very special things happen inside. During the repairs, workers found old messages written on the walls. Messages from people who worked on the tower more than 100 years ago. Names, dates, small drawings. A secret history written in pencil. They also found old buttons, old tools, pieces of glass from the original windows. Each discovery was like a message from the past, a whisper from the people who built this amazing thing. And now, new workers are adding their own messages, hidden messages that someone will find in another 100 years. The tower keeps secrets, and one day, those secrets will be discovered. When you learn English, you are like Big Ben. You keep going, day after day, hour after hour. Sometimes you crack. Sometimes you feel broken. Sometimes you want to stop ringing. but you keep going. And like Big Ben, you are more than just one thing. You are the tower and the bell. You are the clock and the chimes. You are the visible and the hidden. People see you learning. They hear your English. They do not know the work inside. They do not know the pennies you add and take away to keep yourself on time. They do not know the cracks that make your voice unique. But you know, and that is enough. Because one day you will ring out clear and strong, and the world will hear you, just like Big Ben. Thank you for listening to this story today. I hope you enjoyed this journey to London. I hope it helped you with your English learning too. If you liked this story, please give it a like. It helps more people find our channel. If you want to hear more stories like this about famous places, about history, about the secrets hidden in everyday things, please subscribe. Your support helps us create more content for your English journey. And if you have ideas for other stories, please leave a comment below. I would love to know what you want to learn next. Until next time, my friend, keep learning, keep ringing, keep being exactly who you are. And remember, even broken things can make beautiful music. See you soon.